Guys, my name is Dion. Today I will be touching on the subject substance use disorder. Don't mind the background that you see right now. I'll get into it a little more after I'm done. Okay, so substance use disorder is a disease that affects a person's brain and behavior, which eventually leads to an uncontrollable use of any type of drug or medication. In other words, drug addiction. It's when you're addicted to some substance and continue to use it despite the severity of its causes. You may not know, but alcohol, marijuana, and nicotine are all considered drugs. The importance of substance use disorder is this disease has a major impact on many individuals, families, and communities. The effects of it are devastating and require serious attention. It's important to seek help or help an individual that is suffering. You don't really know who may or may not be suffering from it, which is why I decided to talk on. My personal experience is last year I had an uncle that had a whole life ahead of him. He was the light of the family and showed everyone that age is just a number. Because he had finally gotten his life together from a previous alcohol addiction at the age of 47. However, along the way he had encountered another obstacle that we had no idea of, and it took a toll on my family pretty hard. He changed into a person that we didn't recognize. He led us to believe that he was okay and everything was fine. But there was a gut feeling that was ignored. And it eventually hit hard. On May 28, 2020, he was involved in a crash that took a life of another, and later that week he took his own. We took notice that my uncle was struggling with a drug addiction. We didn't pay much attention, and if we had, I feel like he would have still been here today, and the other person would be too. This disease created an unrecognizable man, and his despair was ignored and shoved away. According to the American Nurse Today media, signs and symptoms of this disease varies, depending on the type of drug. For example, here are a few of the many types that can occur. Doing things to get the drug that you normally wouldn't do, taking large amounts of it than what's recommended, spending money on it even if you can't afford it, constant use of it even though it's causing you to have behavioral, physical, or psychological harm, not meeting obligations such as work, social life, and other activities that were done in previous time. Another one is failing to stop using the drug. Recognizing drugs in family members is pretty difficult. According to the American Association of Nurse Aesthetics, it's often difficult to distinguish normal teenage behavior from signs of drug use. But these possible indications that may ensure a teen or family member is using drugs are problems at school or work, such as missing too many days or lack of interest that results in poor performance. Physical health issues such as lack of energy and motivation or weight gain or loss. Neglected appearance, that is the lack of how one may dress. Changes in behavior such as no communication with friends or family and shutting themselves out. Money issues that may be a sudden interest to be requested without explanation. These are all important factors to be on the lookout for. How this thing can be prevented. Communication is key. Talk to those in need and educate others of the severity. Listen to what's being said. Many people take their parents or peers for granted when ignoring the guidance they offer. Also, setting a good example for those, because children of parents who misuse drugs are at higher risk of drug addiction. Creating a strong relationship with friends and family will ensure stability and endurance. Substance use disorder in New Mexico. According to the National Survey on Drug Use and Health, nearly 1 in 10 New Mexican adults have substance use disorder, and 1 in 6 young adults between ages 18 and 25 have substance use disorder. New Mexico has long had some of the highest rates of alcohol and drug abuse in the country, and the problem is getting worse. Since 2001, the combined rates of alcohol and drug-related deaths in New Mexico rose by more than 60%. It's devastating to know that a problem like this one occurred and is occurring today. If you or someone you may know is struggling with substance use disorder, disorder, please seek help despite your intentions to receive it. Substance use disorder is a serious disease that has a devastating effects to an individual, and if not treated quickly, it can be a person's worst nightmare. As for me, I wish I was able to save my uncle and get the help he needed, because he really did make an impact on my life and was the coolest person you would ever know. But I was clueless of the whole thing and took his word that he was okay when really he wasn't. So back to the screen, right here, this is a photo of him. I remember this day, I believe it was like 3 years ago. He finally decided to go back to school, and he attended Tulsa Welding School to become a welder. He finished 9 months later, and then a year after that, that's when the accident happened. This other slide is resource centers for struggling people suffering from SUD. Here I listed a few of the hotlines and links to all of the places you can seek help, and even here in New Mexico, the crisis hotline here. They're all toll free, and I really recommend using them. Thank you